Welcome back, Scythe, ladies and gentlemen. Let me get my video a little better. You got the Scythe boys here today, Bulldog Coma, Cole, and Ninju. And today we've got actual video for both of us. It's quite a treat. Excuse me.
Yeah,
And
it's a
we'll
treat for all the ladies out there,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Cause look at Cole's beautiful hair. Um,
Yeah, that's like 3 days without a shower
Now
right
you get
there.
to
How you
see
doing?
that. What we're gonna do today is dive into competitive 1v1 Scythe, and we're gonna do some, the foundational skill we said was for 13 to 1400 is reading matchups. So we're just gonna draw some from a hat, basically, from the the boards and the factions, and then start to read them for the critical like win conditions you need to know. And I'll write up the one we're doing here in the video for each one. And Cole, do you want to talk about how many combinations there are for competitive 1v1 Scythe, no IFA, no innovative, no militant board, and then include accounting for the banned combos?
I do want to talk about that. Yeah, we actually just spent an hour, no joke, an hour calculating, trying to figure out how to factorial, I guess is what it's called, our way into how many combos there were. Um, and we ended up with the number 69. Nice. Yeah, 69. So I'm not sure if we could be wrong, but I think we're right. It took a
No, I
long
think
time.
we're right. It was extremely complicated.
It
And Cole
was.
had to get his wife involved, who's really good at math. Um,
Yeah.
Yeah, in the past podcast, me and Nevik did a simple way, which was, I think, completely wrong. We took some shortcuts clearly with that number, but we had 625 matchup combinations in competitive 1v1 online digital edition Scythe. Nope. It's
No.
69, which is a lot more manageable, which after having played many, many hundreds of games of that feels more correct. So yeah, let's jump into it. So I'm gonna draw a couple, Cole, and we're gonna read the matchups. Okay.
Sounds good to me. And just so everyone knows, our boy here is a lot more credentialed than I am in the game. So let's privilege his wisdom over mine.
We'll see. We'll see. I can add stuff to yours or whatever. Add depth. So I got one secret drawing, and then getting the other one.
This is fun.
Okay. Okay. So the first one is oh god, Nordic Mechanical. The second one is Polania, and then what do we got? Let's see. Polania Industrial. Okay. Oh god. I'm just
All
thinking
right.
about this matchup. I'm gonna write it on the screen for everyone just so they can see. If I can. Hold on a second. Um, okay, so it is gonna be no, this is the wrong one. Give me 1 second. Episode content. Okay. So it's gonna be Nord Mech versus Pol Ind, right? That's what we got. Yeah.
That's what
Cool.
we got.
Nord Mech Pol Ind, got it. All right, so that's up on the video, and we're gonna do our reads. All right, Cole, do you want to give it a shot on the matchup read? Maybe just read from one side first. Read from Nordmech.
Sure. Okay. So what you're going to want to do with NordMech, and this is what you taught me, is start getting your upgrades right away, right? So take your movement to the metal tunnel, or not the metal tunnel, sorry, to the oil tunnel from there, and you want to produce, you want to trade and produce, you want to have some wood so you can build yourself a mill on the metal, and I think with this matchup, depending on if Paul gets his medal from an encounter or not, you can be a little less worried about getting kicked off of your oil tunnel early. So you might be able to do the cushy opening and throw down a mill on your medal without worrying about being messed up right away. But that's going to depend on the encounter. That's going to depend on luck. So if you have good luck, I suppose that's what I would do.
Okay. Wait, so you're talking about in the matchup versus Polani Industrial, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna have to overwrite some of those things you said.
Do it. Yeah, because I always look at the sheet you gave me when I'm thinking about this stuff, and I don't have it right now, so I could be wrong.
Oh,
Go ahead.
okay. So yeah, this is a tricky one. Really, really bad matchup for Nord Mechanical. You can pull it out, but it's gonna be in a way that neglects a bottom row action. So Polania Industrial has a really big advantage here. So there is a greedy opening with Nord Mech that's slow and fixes your board involving a mill on the metal, but
I think that's what I was talking
yeah,
about.
that's what
Yeah,
you're trying to do.
a
And that's
greedy
very
opening.
slow, but it totally fixes your board with all your workers set up. It's all super clean, it's a very awkward board. You can't, you don't have the luxury to be doing that versus Pole, Ind who's super fast. So Nord and Pole have like this crazy mini game that's its own 1v1 matchup combo, and it's like a whole mini game compared to any other matchups where they're fighting over getting to the factory first, blocking the other one's leg to get to the factory. So that's like the
A lot of
main
fun.
starting premise, and there's like a million fights that'll happen in that game. So what you want to do with Nord Mech is you want to get like an upgrade on your deploy so it's less expensive, and then you want to get down seaworthy, and you want to put it on your worker that's traveled to the metal tunnel that's adjacent to Polania's base, and then try to, if you're fast enough based on Polania's first encounter, block them using seaworthy into their base from the factory. And that allows you to get a lot of power, because you're doing the like maybe an so you're yeah, deploying mechs, and then hopefully from the factory you can get a bottom row star. Maybe you do build or whatever, but yeah, you're gonna run out of resources if you can't enlist. So it's really tricky because you have to neglect a whole bottom row action because you got deploy and bolster going, but nothing else really, because you have to get there so fast. So that's what you do with Nord Mech, and you hope that that works out. Polani Industrial, like if they get a good encounter, they're just so much faster than Nord Mech. They block them in the base. They can hit them over and over again. They can just like walk all over them pretty much. What Nord Mech can do later in the game, if they're staying in the game well enough, they kind of spread their mechs around the board in different lakes and stuff. What they can do is get artillery. Once they have artillery, they can hit them in multiple places if they have some power and stop the Polonius production, like stop them from finishing their workers, stop them from finishing their last couple resources. And they can just do that forever and buy themselves turns. So that's how it goes late game. So like late game, you want to keep Polonia's mechs grouped. It's also extremely hard to do that when you have to keep running around the map and fighting constantly and trying to pick up encounters. So, but neither faction can hide anywhere from either faction. But Polania, when they go in the lake, they can teleport to further away lakes. They can run away more effectively, which you're kind of going to do versus artillery. So that's my read on this matchup. It's a complicated one.
Yeah,
Polania,
it is, and
yeah, go ahead.
I want to get your opinion because you're really going to depend on being fast with Polani and blocking in Nord. Are you going to mess with producing and trading for wood and getting a mine with Polani Industrial, or are you just going to go straight for the encounter?
Um, if you don't get metal, let's see, Polania Industrial. If you don't get metal on the encounter, then you're trapped if you don't do that other opening with the mine. So
Yeah,
it's
you're going to
safer
be
to do
hurt.
the mine opening, and then you also kind of just like fly after that's done. It's very efficient start. Um, if you want to gamble it, I don't think you should gamble it because you're in an advantaged matchup. So like, yeah, you would just do a move, trade to metal, move, and then hope you get another metal, and you still need a building. But the mine is also really good because you can, if Nord does get a really good first encounter and is able like quick enough to block you with seaworthy, then you can go around that. So yeah, the mine opening is good. I would use that.
Stick with the mine opening. Okay.
Yeah, but I'd say this is like 65-35. Polania wins. The game is in their hands.
Definitely.
Okay, draw new ones.
Yep. Let's do it.
Okay, give me a
Keep it
sec
moving.
to organize them. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, and every day I learn more about this stuff, usually from you, Josh. So,
Or when
you
you
know,
play,
the with
when you play and lose, like yeah.
yeah, well, I win a lot more when it's something that you've taught me. When it's
Oh
something that
yeah,
I'm in the
once I
dark
give you
about, I'm
the
like, "Dude,
download on a matchup, you're just like, oh, I
yeah,
won. I did what you said.
yeah, yeah,
Thanks.
every time.
Yeah, you're getting fast tracked up there. It's kind of nice.
Yes,
Nobody fast
it
tracked
is.
me, but you're getting that privileged treatment. Okay. All right, I'm drawing a new one. Okay. So we got. Oh God. Okay. Pull ag, and then
Ugh,
we've got. Yeah. I'm waiting for like some fire stuff coming out.
something
The
cool.
the
Yeah,
other one is patriotic. Oh, Sax Pat. Okay. Ha. Sax Pat Polag. Let me write that in the
that's an interesting.
stream. Yeah,
That's tough. That's tough to cast the dice for, I think. Unless you know something that I don't. But the thing about Sax Pat is it's pretty
Polag
slow. Sax
versus
usually has an
Sax
advantage
Pat.
over Paul.
Okay, so Polag Sax Pat. All right, you want to give it a shot and then I'll go,
Oh,
or you want
yeah.
me to do
Okay,
it?
so
Do you not know?
well,
I can
no,
go for it.
let me just give the basic breakdown. What I do know is that Sax Pat is slow, but Sax usually has the early advantage over Polania because they can creep into Polania's mental tunnel quickly and be ready with the River Walk to just start kicking him off. So with a slow pull and a slow pat, I would still give the advantage, I guess, to Saxony, but I could be wrong. So yeah, give me your read.
Polani with the standard opening does 2 upgrades. So turn 5 they get their first mech,
Yep.
and then their mechs are free because they've upgraded trade twice. So like
Mhm.
they don't, it doesn't cost any resources. So turn turn 5, and at the latest turn 7 they have their mechs and they can go straight to the factory. I think Polag is actually quite good. Um, yeah, they get a ton if they can get those actual normal enlists off. This matchup is close in my opinion. Sax,
I
if
feel
they
like it's
have two
close.
movement objectives like or power objectives, because Sax Pat's high power, could be really good. If Polania, this could go a lot of ways. Honestly, a lot more matchups are more straightforward than this. Polania's it depends on Polania's like first encounter, what factory card they get, but I think usually because Polania is already starting with 2 upgrades, so they could even do like get an upgrade factory card and do well for a bottom row. Because then they only
Mhm.
need 4 and they like moving to pick up encounters. Like they get an enlist one that works well. Ideally, they would get like a deploy one. They just grab a bunch of encounters. Saxpat's hard like slow to get out on the map. They're slow to build up.
Exactly.
If Russ Ag gets like high power stuff and quick mechs, they could actually Saxpat is just on like their village and their metal, and they're just like they need quite a bit of metal to get their mechs out, so like they're actually really kind of vulnerable at the beginning, and since they can take the lakes, Pole Ag can attack them early. Pole Ag can also play like the encounter game with upgrades. Pole Ag has time to do stuff. They just need to not give any combat. Like the win condition is give no combats to Sax unless they're like beating them up in their base at the beginning of the game. It's super disrupting them, and like they're going to be faster. So Sax or Polonia is like you never have to worry about the race to finish bottom row actions usually versus other factions. You're always going to be the fastest basically, so you can take early combats if you know you're going to be the fastest to end. So I like Polag in this. Sax Pat, if Polag doesn't take advantage of like early opportunities and their encounters help with like early power and stuff, then Saxpat is in a better position. This is a very nuanced matchup though, because there are different points where each faction does better. Saxpat, maybe you try to keep them off the factory. Saxpat's not going to be good late game without a factory card. Um,
Right.
but usually what I would do is just like go into Rustviet's base with Pole in the later stages, and then you're untouchable, and you can eco in there too, if you don't win quickly. So Polania has a lot of different angles to win it, I believe. There's a lot of depth to this matchup, I think, in my read of it.
Yeah, I would say so too. And I do feel like, Sax Pat is going to be high power no matter what. And with Paul, it can honestly go either way.
I think
You're not
Polag can be pretty
necessarily
high power.
It can be, but it's not necessarily going to be every time, I think. I think it does depend on the factory card that you get and the encounters that you get as well. So, I
Yeah,
mean, I
you
can
need food
foresee,
off encounters. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I can foresee a situation where, a Sax Pat with a mine on the village and a lucky encounter can go in quickly and get himself some combats before
Oh.
Paul can get enough of an economy going to hide away in someone else's base, right? So I
Yeah.
think,
The problem is their mix
but
costs 4. So if they can't build easily because it costs 4 wood and they get nothing for it. They
oh,
need
this is
2
no,
wood.
this is from the encounter
Yeah,
is
yeah.
that's
So
it. Like that's the only situation I
well,
can
that's
see
the thing
because
is if they get their first encounter gives them a mine, then that's really good. But they
right,
still won't have. It's still hard for them to get. They'll have their mechs will cost 2 with the double upgrade opening. So it'll still take a while to get the actual metal while getting workers and using the mine. So
right,
like it's still a bit slow. It's hard to even disrupt them even with the mine. But it's
yeah,
so yeah, like they can't get lucky on getting metal and getting the mine. If they get the mine, that's like the jackpot, but it's still not like gonna get them quick enough before because turn 7 Polania can already be ready to leave to and go straight to the factory through the lake. So yeah.
yep.
So it's slow. So yeah. Okay, let's read another one. And these are very like because there's a faction read which we've done, and then these are like the faction end board, which is like can be very nuanced sometimes. Maybe I should stick to more like high level a little bit. What do you think?
No, I think this is fine. It gives us something to think about. And I that was a strange one that you just pulled.
That was. I'm waiting for some like fire combos where it's like, all right, this is straightforward. Both the 2 ones we've pulled have been hard. Like they've been
They have been.
tricky, complicated. Okay, here we go. New ones. Got that, and then we're getting our factions. Okay, here's one, and then here's one. All right, let me do the flip. Whoa, losing things. Okay, let me do the flips. All right, so we got Polani again, really good in 1v1. And then we got, so Polania Mechanical, and then we got Saxony Ag. Okay, let me change this up in the title. Okay, so Pole Sax again. So Pole Mech versus Sax Ag. Ooh, okay. All right, Cole, you read it. Pole Mech Sax
No,
Ag.
you're reading this one first, man.
Okay.
Sax I always
Both.
lose with. I've never won a game with Sax. You think I know
Yeah.
what to do?
Pole Mech is pretty strong in 1v1 in my opinion. Like I would say it's like A tier. It's just it costs 4 to enlist. It's the only downside.
Yep.
3 to deploy a mech, like they can do trade moves for their opening and they'll be safe-ish and hope for metal on the encounter. So Polmech's a little slow, but it's pretty strong actually. Saxag is quite bad. Um,
Quite bad. And why is it quite bad?
it takes so long to actually finish your bottom row actions. Also, you don't
Exactly.
have any access to food, and that's like the most beneficial column you can take, which is bolster into enlist, which pays super well, and
Yep.
like you get a lot of so that has huge rewards.
By the
And
time you have that set up, like your food set up with Saxniak, I feel like Pole is already going to have more power than you and more movement, and is going to be able to potentially knock you right off the food pretty easily, or at least bully you in the base.
yeah, because they bolster to deploy, whereas you only bolster to
Yeah,
enlist. So
exactly.
like, and then they're also just grabbing encounters. It's pretty unfair in 1v1 Polania. So like, this is like Polania will, even though Sax beats Polania as a faction and would hunt it, Polania can like literally bully this completely, and it's probably faster. They're gonna get first to the factory card, most likely. You
Hmm.
could rush. Like the best play probably with Saxag is just to like get as few workers as you can and get onto the board. Get maybe a factory card or encounters as quickly as possible and hope that you're like you get lucky stuff. And then just
which
take
is not a
any.
good play.
Yeah, get positioning so you could take any fight if there were any that look good, like where
Hmm.
you could just like, because Polani's going to be moving around the map, you can kind of hunt them a little bit, but like when they're on encounters, a lot of the encounters they grab are like on villages, and you don't get to that easily with Saxony. So really bad,
Yep.
really tough matchup. Rush, get good encounters, get pop with Sax is your only real chance, and then you want to group like when Polani is looking for their combats to just end on. So, but I would say this is like 70-30.
Hmm. I
Yep.
put it at 70-30 as well, for sure.
It's not good. Not a
Yep.
good one. These matchups are, I don't know, man. Let's draw another one. At least
Flip it,
we
flip it over, do
we
it
did
again.
that one quick. We did that one quick. That one was simple at least, right? It was like, this is just really bad for
It's
Saxony.
straightforward. Yeah.
Polania does need to be a little careful, not giving too many combats in case they
Man,
can do two. Sax can throw down two objectives, but like it's so
what
slow to get the bottom rows they need to even turn in the two objectives with the combat and end. Like
I'm saying,
it's just
when
really
Saxony's
bad.
bad, Saxony's bad. That's
Saxony
the
Ag is
thing about
really,
Saxony.
really
I
bad.
swear, when Saxony is at its worst, he's really at his worst, man. It's like actually Germany during World War One and Two at the end. Like this guy was killing it, now he's just down in the dumps.
Saxony Ag is real fucking bad. It's pretty
Mm.
horrible. Okay. Oh, we got Crimea. Nice. I'm trying to get like, you know what? I'm gonna pick Rus-Viet instead of Sax. We've just done a lot of Sax, so I'm switching that one
He's
up.
just doing,
So we
he's
got
doing
Crimea,
it.
Rus-Viet, and then let's get boards. Okay, and there we go. All right, Rus-Viet, patriotic. Crimea, mechanical. Okay, I kind of like that. I was tired of the pole Sax, honestly. Um,
Me too.
okay, so we're going. Who goes first? Patriotic. Okay, so we'll do Russ, Pat versus Crime Mech. Okay, we're gonna read it. All right.
All
You
right.
want to give it a shot, Cole? Or should we take a second to think? I'm gonna think for a second about this one.
I need to think about the Crimea side of it. I'm pretty, I usually have the same one or two openings with Russ Pat no matter what. Um,
You know, this is okay. Yeah, I know this matchup now that I think about it a little bit.
yeah, I mean Russ Fiat. Obviously, I'm thinking about when Crimea is going to try and jump into the base on
Mm-hmm.
the oil tunnel, and
But
that can
what's the
happen
timing
quickly.
though? Yeah. Well, if you go too fast, you're not gonna have any economy, and it's awkward to go fast with mechanical. So
Yeah, it
I
is.
feel like it's gonna be like turn 9 or 10. Like you have time to really get set up with Rosviet. I think this is pretty fair
So,
matchup. They're both like eco monsters with a lot of power.
right. Let's
I think
see.
Joy Division told me this is slightly favored to Rosviet.
I
But
would
I
put it
don't
to
know
Russ
about
Fiat.
that actually.
Well, no.
I'd say it's about even. Like the scout thing can be good, but you're not gonna, since your board's so slow and then Rustviet's so fortified before you even get there. Like if Rustviet's smart, it'll be hard to abuse like scout tax a lot. Um, Crimea Mechanical's faster. Crimea Mechanical will be faster. That's the good news. Um, than Rust Pat. So yeah, I think Crimea Mechanical is favored a little bit. Crimea Mechanical is a very strong combination. Like, I would say maybe like S tier in 1v1. It's really good.
Yeah, it is. And once Crimea gets out of the gate, it gets out of their base. It's really easy to start dominating from there. And I think maybe with Russ Pat, even though you're going to be a little bit slower, you might want to try and make your way to the middle of the board, depending on what Crimea is doing. And
Yeah, like
I
third
think it's just
third mech.
hard. It's hard spacing your mechs on this because, the counter to scout, especially with when you've already had a lot of enlists, can be people's army. It can work.
Yeah, no, it works if you can get all your, like, you want to get all your enlists really fast, or
Yeah,
no enlists for Crimea, Rust Crimea. That's what Nevi
right. But
told me.
it's a little difficult to get your enlist really fast with Russ Pat is the problem. So
Yeah, yeah. If you want to get your enlist really fast, you're gonna have uh like not enough metal. Your mechs are so expensive. It requires multiple upgrades to get the mechs out in a reasonable amount of time. And if you don't, Crimea Mechanical could even get into your base after building up, even though they're slow. So it's like, yeah, this is a good matchup for Crimea Mechanical. I'd say 60-40. You got to think about
yeah,
the wind conditions. Yeah. They both can
I would
get
say
power
about the
stars.
same.
Yeah, they
They
both can
both
take
can
power
get power
stars, which is
stars.
one less combat that they need. So you may be playing around straight up one combat. So then, if that's the case, Scout does way, way less, right? Like each side needs one combat. Scout's most useful in 1v1 when there's like 5+ combats in the game and you're taking like 1v1s everywhere, drawing all their cards, right? So that tips it back towards Rustviet a little. So close. Maybe 55-45. Like, I think that's what Joy told me is slightly favored to Crimea, which I think I agree with. I think we're
I would agree with that
55-45.
too. Just in the just for us being a little bit slower and
It's hard with
Crimea
the getting
being
the mechs
able.
out, man. Like, yeah.
It's just tough to get the mechs out.
They're
It
so
is, and
expensive.
I vacillate between trying to speed it up and use Fomoff's 13 turn opening, which is pretty good, but skips the encounter and doesn't have an upgrade, and actually trading for oil and getting the upgrade. Um,
With Russ Pat.
with Russ Pat, yeah,
Yeah.
I always vacillate between those two, and I really haven't found one is better than the other.
Oh, did I show
It
you
just
Joy's move? Where you start
no,
with
I know
produce
he
on 3
refuses to pay
territories with
for.
oil. Yeah,
He,
yeah.
he he
Produce on.
refuses to pay for a mech. I know that.
He goes 7 workers produce on 3 territories with as his first upgrade with yeah, 2 workers on oil, and then like it's actually you get quite rich. It's the like slowest, greediest opening, but it gets you your mechs way cheaper. So like if you're
Yeah.
against Saxony, 100% do it. Like because they cannot touch you, right? So you're just gonna have an insane eco. But what I was gonna say is like for Rustviet, when there's a timer before like they can be attacked in the area where they're most vulnerable, which is metal. So 4 cost on the mech, that's tough. Whereas Crimea's cost with mech is 3, but then with coercion it can be 2. So they actually have so much of an easier time without any upgrades getting their mechs out.
Without any upgrades. Yep.
So that's maybe I go 60-40. Yeah. So okay, let's do one last one.
Okay, one more.
One
Quick
more.
one today.
Yeah, we'll do this one quick. Okay. Got the boards. These things are a little big, little cumbersome to be shuffling. Hold on.
Who's playing with physical boards these days,
I
man?
know. I need to go see how many factory cards there are from my board game in a second, so I can know my probabilities in 1v1 too. Okay.
When was the last time you played on a physical board?
Long time ago, yeah. Like maybe I played once in the last year, teaching some friends. Okay, I got Polania Saxony again. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna change this up and just take some different factions. We're gonna do Rustviet Nord because we haven't done a Rustviet Nord yet. All right, here we are. Nord Engineering. Rustviet Ag. That's kind of good. We haven't gotten any like fire combos, but like that's a good one. Let's put this in here. Nope. Whoops. Hold on a second. Yeah, just updating this takes me a sec. Okay, so Nord Engie versus Russ Ag. Okay. Cool. Nord Engie, Russ Ag. What do you know? How's your Nord Engie, Cole?
Oh, terrible. My NG all across is terrible.
And how's your Russ Ag? My Russ Ag I struggle with a little bit.
No, I got nothing.
On this matchup? How would you approach this if you drew it?
Actually, okay. Always with Russ Ag, I'm always going 8 workers, and I'm taking as many as I can to grain right away, and I'm going to split. I'm going to try to have 6 on grain, and I'm going to try to have 2 on metal, and I'm going to have
Okay.
1 upgrade or 1 or 2 upgrades, right? And I like to produce twice. That's it. If I'm on grain with Rusag, I'm going to produce twice, get all the grain I need, all the metal I need, hide it away, and then just deploy, deploy and list, deploy and list, deploy and list, right?
So you got
Against Nord,
so you're gonna have 12 food and 8 metal. If if you're gonna produce twice with a 6-2 split, no. So you're gonna have 4 metal, 12 food. So 4 metal would be if you had, and you said you're gonna have like if you had 1 upgrade,
1 upgrade,
4
1 upgrade.
metal,
Yep.
that works for all your mechs because you
It has
upgraded your
everything, and
mechs.
that's all your food too.
And
That's
then
all your
all your
food too. So
food
that's
with no
everything you need.
upgrades, yeah, all your food with no upgrades is 12.
You're all set up. That's how I roll with
You're
Rusag.
not going
I
to get the
just
power
remembered.
star. Well, unless are you upgrading movement or bolster? You could get power star if you upgrade bolster, but then you can't
Gonna
move
gonna
in an
upgrade, gonna
effective way
upgrade
to win the
move.
game. Yeah.
Forget the power star in this case. You've already got enough going for you. I feel like you're getting rich, you're getting power, you're getting your bottom rows done, and I feel like against Nord NG,
You don't need
it's
that
gonna
much
take them.
power. You don't need that much
You
power
don't
because
need
they're
that much
low
power,
power,
right?
right? You don't. But like,
Exactly.
yeah, the power star is not going to happen versus Nord NG because the Nord NG will harass you anyways. On like
Hmm.
Nord NG wants to harass you on your metal because that's where
Yes.
you've taken all your resources really over to food, and that's what powers everything for you. And it's not adjacent to lakes, so it's not viable for Nord to attack over and over again. So they're going to play the attack retreat to lakes game, and then they're going to play the
Yep.
artillery retreat to lakes game. But if you only need to produce twice, they probably won't be able to artillery you down
That's
to
it.
stop the
Those two
production. So like,
productions are key. Yeah.
so not the best for Nordag.
I don't think so
They
for Nord
need
NG.
if sorry Nord NG. If they get a good factory card, maybe they can make it work. But like the good thing about Nord NG is like it starts slow, but then it becomes quite fast. Like if they get a big produce off on food, they move to enlist, and like they only need so like if you harass well and do the battle micro well, you've got a good shot because Russag isn't that strong of a board, and they're gonna have challenges getting their mechs.
Hmm.
Moving to like getting your upgrade once you've already moved out to the food is awkward because you can't afford your speed mech. So I've been playing a lot of Russag with some issues. So like Russag has issues trying to get their second mech because you're just gonna like move, but you can't move. You can only move one step when you're trying to do the move to upgrade, so you can get in range of your actual second mech for speed. So you're like wasting
You
stuff.
can
So it's
you can
actually
do the
gets
foam
awkward.
off and skip the encounter.
Uh, so how does
Move a
that work?
worker to your metal. Like
Oh
move
yeah,
a
yeah,
worker to
totally,
your
totally.
metal
But
and then river walk the rest of your guys to the grain.
oh okay, yeah. So then I think by like what turn do you get your speed mech ready? Because like can't Nordag is gonna go to your village tunnel and then start harassing as quickly as possible, but they need speed and uh seaworthy. So like you might be if you're going 3 produces right full workers. Um,
Hmm.
then you do a move. You take 1 worker over to metal, and then the mech with 6 over to. So that's 3 produces, move 4, and then all your workers are set up. 1 produce, turn 5, and then deploy speed, turn 6.
Turn 6.
So turn 6, I'd say there's like an 80% chance that, barring any crazy encounters that give them mechs, that you're gonna be able to get your speed mech out before Rustviet's even
Mhm.
or before Nard's even interfering with you. So then at that point,
Yep.
it's just like a pretty easy matchup. Like, so yeah, I like that way you do
Yep.
it. That's a better way to play versus Nord NG actually. It's not always the best, but that's a good way. So, yep, Russ Ag has the advantage here. Nord NG, I don't see a lot of great ways for them to win it.
No,
Yeah.
I'd give it a 65-35.
Yeah, low power versus high power is tough, and they get to draw all their power from a place that's completely protected from Nord, which is the food
Exactly.
enlist area, which is like if they do go venture to fight you there, just make sure you win, and they're going all the way home, and it's really hard for them to get back there. So, yep, you'd like that Russ Ag draw. So, all right, we hope that this has been helpful. and it showed off some of the principles of how we would read these. And it is extremely nuanced and takes a long time to master all these like 69 competitive 1v1 combinations. And different points of the game have different power spikes for the different combos in their matchup. Sometimes in the
Yeah,
more
and I'm not even.
complicated ones. So it takes a lot of experience and work to figure these out, and I don't have them
Just
all
the
down
things you're
either.
saying. Just the things you're saying. All right, what turn am I going to get this? Like, I can't think in terms like that. What turns am I going to have this stuff? Right? I'm not even close to that advanced yet. So it really does take time.
You do have to
And
think
that's after
about
200 hours.
some of the
Like,
break points on where they can get in on power spikes. Is you need to make sure you're going to have that before likely the turn that they can interfere with you. Yeah.
yep.
So we'll do one on
Well,
break
all
points
right.
too. We'll do another episode on break points, and that'll help show like where the most focus should be put in a matchup. So yeah, thank you guys for joining us. And we'll be back with some more. I might do some more matchup reads with Nevik, and then we're gonna do a couple more follow-up episodes too. So thank you, Cole, and I'll let you get to sleep
Thank
in
you guys.
China. All right, man. Bye.
All right. See you next time.